You wake up one morning, and part of the ground is just gone. A field, a road, sometimes even a house. The land collapses as if it was never there. So here's the real question. Why does the ground suddenly give up? Most people think sinkholes are caused by earthquakes. The ground shakes, it cracks, and it collapses. But here's the surprising part. Most sinkholes have nothing to do with earthquakes. In fact, many of them are quietly forming for years, sometimes for centuries, long before anyone notices a problem. Because the ground beneath your feet isn't a solid, unbreakable block. In many regions, especially where limestone exists, the earth is more like a layered system filled with cracks, fractures, and hidden weaknesses. And beneath that surface, there can be massive empty spaces underground. But how do these spaces form? And more importantly, why can they stay hidden for so long and then suddenly collapse without warning? Everything starts with rain. Rainwater falls through the atmosphere, mixes with carbon dioxide, and turns into a weak acid called carbonic acid. This acidic water seeps into the ground, finding its way through tiny fractures in the rock, slowly dissolving materials like limestone, dolomite, and other soluble rocks. This process is incredibly slow, millimeter by millimeter, year after year. But over geological time, small cracks grow larger, voids expand into tunnels, and tunnels connect to form underground cave systems. From the surface, nothing looks wrong. The land seems stable, buildings stand, roads remain intact, because the soil above is doing something remarkable. It's bridging the empty space below, quietly supporting itself, until it can't anymore. So why doesn't the ground collapse everywhere? Because water alone isn't the whole story. The real key is balance. Underground cavities can exist safely as long as pressure, rock strength, and groundwater levels remain in equilibrium. But when that balance is disturbed, the system becomes unstable. One of the biggest triggers is a sudden drop in groundwater levels. When water is pumped out for agriculture, industry, or cities, the water that once supported underground rock is suddenly gone. The pressure holding the system together disappears. The roof of the cavity weakens. Microcracks form. Stress builds up silently. And then, at a critical point, the ground reaches a breaking threshold. In that moment, the soil essentially says, I can't carry this anymore. And the collapse happens. Sometimes overnight. Sometimes in seconds. Sometimes directly beneath places where people live, work, and drive every day. That's why sinkholes are not just natural formations. They are the visible scars of an invisible system beneath our feet. A system shaped by water, rock, time, and increasingly by human actions. The most unsettling part isn't that sinkholes exist. It's that the ground can look perfectly safe right up until the moment it opens. And when it does, there is no warning sound, no shaking, no second chance, just empty space finally revealing itself.